This meeting
All
is
right.
being recorded.
It's like, hey, Chris.
Hi, Alicia. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
It's been a little while since we talked, so I thought we should get back on here and give some more good information. So I'm
Definitely.
glad we found time.
Yeah, and I love your videos. Your channel is looking so nice now,
Oh,
from the first time we talked. Yeah, you're
thank
putting in so much
you.
work into it, and they're funny. I love watching your videos.
Thank you. I'm having a lot of fun with it. Tomorrow, I'm going to try and do my first live stream at
Okay.
6:30. I'm calling it Monday Monday mood.
Okay.
See what your mood is like on Monday. Hopefully you've been dreaming about your cruises all weekend, or maybe you took a weekend cruise. Let's hear how it went. So let's see
Right.
how that goes. If you have time, tune in.
Yes. Okay. Definitely.
I have to remember to say that kind of stuff because I never remember. But for those of you who haven't met Chris before, Chris is an amazing travel agent. I have been working with him for, I don't know if we should say the years, but it's probably getting close to 20 years of booking vacations and mostly cruises. So he has so much information, great information to share. And I would just want to pick his brain and see what we can pass along to the people. So what
Oh,
I think I asked you that before, like what's the one thing you really, or the most important things you want people to know about working with a travel agent?
working with a travel agent, you got to keep in mind that we're on your side, right? We're not. The only way we thrive and the way I, go to bed at night good is knowing that I handled your package the way I would handle my own family's package, right? So, you got to remember we breed, we live in this industry, so we're not just popping on for 5, 10 minutes from work, a little break, checking a trip, and then going back to your 9 to 5 then, right?
Right, right.
So, we live and breathe this. So, the thing is, we're always in there. We're always in your reservation. We're looking for promotions. I mean, I just had a client this past weekend. He sent me a text saying, thank you so much because I got him $250 refunded back to his credit card
Oh,
because his
awesome.
cruise went down in price. And, so long story short, look at us as your professional advisor when it comes to your trips. And, have an open communication with us. We don't bite. So um, I love it when I send a client a package, Alicia, and they're like, this is nice, but I would like to do this, or I'd like to take away this, or I'd like to add this. Those are the best clients I work with. Those are the ones that always get the ideal vacation that they're looking for because they're not beating around the bush. They're being straightforward with me, and they're telling me, Chris, you know what? Let's do this. Let's do that. When we work as a team together, that's when vacations really become the most memorable.
And that's
So
and that's, you're always really great with feedback, or if I ask a million questions, you happily answer that. So I appreciate that.
oh, no problem. And I want people to also understand you're not bugging us. And so if you even the stupidest question that might be stupid to you is not a stupid question. So I want you to bug me. I want you to say, hey Chris, we had 6 p.m. dining, but we want anytime dining now. Those type of things. That's what we're here for. So don't think that once you book your vacation with me, that you're not gonna, I'm out of the picture. No, there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff. If you want anything done, if you wouldn't believe the scenarios that I could tell you because I've been
Yeah.
doing this for so long. But once you get a trusted travel agent on your side that you've been working with, like you yourself, your family and stuff, Alicia,
Mhm, mhm.
that you work. It works out to your best interest to have someone then like that.
Right. And I always like to remind people that like when we're working with a travel agent, I'm not rich. So using travel agents is not only for rich people. You have somebody on your side who knows the industry, knows what to look for, knows how to find the packages and deals for you. So I just don't want people to think that there's some great charge in using a travel agent. Is that a common
Exactly.
thing that people think?
Right. Well, a person who's never been, been using a travel agent and has been doing their stuff, doing all the work themselves, they probably might feel like that, Alicia. They might say, well, how is he getting paid?
Right,
I must have to pay for him to get paid. No, that's not true because the hotels, the cruise lines, the resorts, they pay us. So you don't have to pay me for my services. That's how we work, So and you'll see. I get even better pricing than what you find directly because they want you to have a travel agent. Because you remember these companies, they probably pay. They're not paying me hourly to do what I'm doing, so it's
right,
cheaper for Royal Caribbean or the Rio Resort or whatever to have travel agents working for themselves that are basically a representative of them. So they'll throw out different promotions for us that you won't find independently, just as an incentive, like a thank you, for using a travel
right.
advisor instead of going directly with them. So,
Well, yeah, like I said, I want people to know that there are great people, professional people out there who can work on your side, and that you shouldn't let that worry about, how much is the travel agent going to cost me, be a
exactly. And,
hindrance.
and like I tell people, it's the same way there's a real estate agent, there's an insurance agent, you're specialized in that field. Yes, we could go sell our own house, but the thing is, you're doing all the work yourself. There again, you're not paying the real estate agent out of your pocket. It comes out of the sale of the home. Same thing with me. You don't pay anything additional out of your pocket. It comes out of the sale of the cruise, the sale of the resort, whatever. So you're not paying anything to me. See, I'm getting paid by the quantity and the amount of revenue I'm bringing for that particular brand, right? So just keep
Yeah,
that in mind. And also, Alicia, I know a lot of people are price sensitive. I understand that, but sometimes it's worth that extra $100, that extra $200 to go with a better brand, just because of the experience of that brand. Because
mhm,
I'll have people, and I understand people have budgets and stuff like that, which I definitely totally okay with. But
yeah,
like, for instance, if you're doing a Carnival cruise, let's talk about cruises, and you're going on the Paradise, which is a pretty old ship, right? You're going
right,
to get the most promotions for those ships because you know what? It's an older ship versus going on a nicer ship where you'll have more memorable memories there. And
good
there's a
morning.
lot of factors. Some people are traveling by themselves, some people are going as couples, some people have kids involved. So I've been doing this a long time, so I know, and I could tell like when someone is willing to, that price alone is not their main factor. Then I mean, they would budge a little bit if it's going to make a better, memorable vacation for them. So
Right.
yeah,
That there's so many new ships coming out, big ones that I want to go on, like the Wonder,
yes,
and of course the Icon, but I want to go on the Wonder first, I think.
yes,
But I definitely want to see those. I know Carnival has some new ships, like is it the Celebration?
celebration,
Celebrate, yeah.
yes, and
That are people are really excited about because they're bigger ships, newer ships. So like how do you what do you recommend to people when they're asking what should I pick, or what should I go? Is a big ship better than a small ship, or those kinds of things?
I always tell my first time, for instance, a first time cruiser, to don't get overwhelmed with everything because, cruising in itself, before they came out with these mega ships, used to be
Mhm.
very overwhelming, right? And it still
Yeah.
is because, I mean, there's so much intricates and so much in and outs, Alicia, and you know that you're an
Mhm.
avid cruiser. You know, yes, you're paying. I'm just gonna throw out something. You're paying $100 for an inside room. You don't know that you're at the bottom of the ship next to the engine and you're feeling your room
Right.
vibrating every time they're going in and out of a port. So you got to it's like these are floating cities, so even your small cruise line ship
Yeah.
is really like a floating city by itself still. So but to answer your question, I would say go for the big ships. The big ships now, what Royal Caribbean is doing, especially Carnival hasn't really done this yet, but they're taking their big ships and doing short sailings on them. So like Allure of the Seas, I just got word this past week, is coming to Port Canaveral, and I love the work they're doing at Port Canaveral
Oh,
now. They're making it so convenient
yeah.
to cruise right out of Orlando here now. Allure of the Seas is coming to Port Canaveral to do 3 and 4 day spins,
Oh, I didn't
Caribbean
know
spins,
that.
and that was unheard of because
Right.
when you have mega ships, the cruise lines always wanted to keep to 7-day schedules,
Yeah.
8-day long sailings. But now you can get really, I think they even have Freedom out of Fort Lauderdale or Miami doing short spins right now, Freedom of the Seas, which is an
Hmm.
absolutely nice, very nice ship. So,
Very nice ship.
um, but these big ships, they might seem a little more intimidating, but you know what? You've been on a big ship, Alicia. You've been on a couple of them already, so
Yeah.
you have your space, you have your privacy. It's not like you're flocked with a bunch of people. There's so many different neighborhoods on Royal Caribbean. I mean, you
Right.
have the Central Park area, you have the boardwalk area, you have the promenade. There's this, cruising. One aspect I love about cruising is that you pay one price, and then you pretty much have the ship is like your house, so
Yeah.
you could go make a mess, you could go do whatever you want to do. If you feel like going to the jacuzzi at 7 o'clock in the evening, you're
Yeah.
okay with that,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and you
Yeah.
don't have to worry about picking up after yourself. You really are pampered, so but yeah, I would say still give it a try. If you still are kind of wavering over a large size ship, then do a medium sized ship, and get a feel for it. But start off with like a 3 to 5 day sailing. That would be my recommendation, because that'll give you a good feel as to how a cruise is.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm one who wants to go for longer, but I'll take a 5 day. But
Yeah,
I
now they've improved those short sailings, the 3 night sailings out of Port Canaveral. They leave on Friday, come back on a Monday. So
yeah,
I mean, you can plan a long weekend, like when Monday is a holiday, and get a nice trip out of it.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's being in Florida and living in Florida, we're spoiled.
We
So
are
I was
spoiled. We are spoiled.
we have like 8 ports that we can leave out of, and then when Brightline comes, the train system here, it's just a
Yeah,
2 hour, two and a half
yeah.
hour train ride to Miami to catch a cruise. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's getting progressively nicer and nicer to be a Floridian these days
Well,
where
speaking of
travel is
yeah,
concerned.
speaking of being a Floridian, we definitely had our troubles this hurricane season. We had Ian, which was massive and caused a big mess, and then it
Yes,
just recently with Nicole, a smaller storm, but it was still impactful in the port areas. So, like,
yes.
what I know what you always tell me about travel insurance, and I usually get that. So, do you find that people understand that it's probably a good idea, especially if you're leaving out of a Florida port, to get the travel insurance, any port really, because so many things are happening.
I mean, Alicia, you got to think about it. You're making an investment into your vacation. You're spending, a minimum of whatever,
Whatever you
right?
spend, it's your money. Yeah,
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly. I had clients when Ian came through that were in Dominican Republic, and their flight got canceled like a day before because of the hurricane. And thank God they took my advice and they had the insurance. They can't stop praising me, Alicia, because every expense down to rescheduling that flight, the extra stays in the hotel, because they were not all inclusive. They didn't do a cruise. They were not
Mhm.
all inclusive, and the extra night they got reimbursed for the whole thing. I mean, he was jumping up and down. He sent me an
I
email. He's like,
bet.
Chris, I got the check in my hand. But yeah, I mean,
I bet.
yeah, you never know what could happen.
Yeah,
It's just a peace of mind thing. Most of the times you probably won't use it, but knowing that you have that, you never know. I had some clients, Alicia, that was out of New York going on a land-based tour out of Miami. And for whatever reason, I really don't know. I think there was like some kind of small storm up in that region, in the Northeast region. All the flights were canceled. Like they just automatic because of lightning, or I have no idea what. And one way from New York to Miami was $600 to get them down to Miami. I mean, I had people calling me because it was a group of them going on a land base. I forget if they were going to Fiji or one of these places, but it was a land based tour. And you know, I had a lady, she's like, Chris, I just can't afford the one-way ticket to go down there. And I was like, why don't you go to the airport and see them in person and see what happens? Well, long story short, I think one couple decided to just lose the whole thing,
mm,
but they had the insurance, so that was the good thing.
okay,
But another couple went to the airport and they got onto the flight. But what I'm saying is, you never know, and this was the day of the
yeah,
they're supposed to be traveling. Now, everyone who had the insurance didn't care. They paid that $600 knowing that they would get reimbursed for whatever
Mhm.
expenses were out of their pockets, so that, you never know. You never
Yeah,
know
yeah.
what would happen. Yeah, and it's also good for like lost baggage, trip delays, of course, sicknesses. If you have any unforeseen sicknesses, if all of a sudden you have an allergy outbreak, or something happens where you don't feel well and you go to the doctor, keep your receipts, submit it, and you get reimbursed.
Get
All those are
reimbursed.
unforeseen things. Yeah.
And I think I think I pretty much have been using the same travel insurance company for a while. For a while, is it Allianz?
Allianz, yes.
Allianz.
Allianz is a worldwide travel insurance that I sell personally here at my business. I've been
Hmm.
dealing with them for numerous generations, and they're very professional, very quick on paying claims. They're very straightforward. Five-star all the way, all the way. Very easy to work with. They don't make it cumbersome to submit claims to them.
Right.
Yeah, a very good company. Very,
And
very
that's
good company.
something that you add right on. You could add the cost of that to your package so we can, so you can make payments.
Well, the insurance, because it gets activated. It actually gets activated 24 hours from the time I write the policy. So they don't.
Okay.
So if I write it today, it'll be active tomorrow. But because it starts working right away, you do have to pay that with your deposit
Okay.
upfront, because the
Okay.
insurance starts at the day we write it, right? So, but yeah, but most of the times, if you plan like 3 months or more out for your vacations, Alicia, you can make payments. So you just put a
Hmm.
deposit down. What that does, by doing that, it's interest free. You don't pay any additional for doing this, and we do that with any type of package that's pre-planned ahead. Like I said, 3 months or more.
Yeah.
You put a deposit down. What that does, if you're doing like a land base, especially, it locks in all the prices of that package. So the flights, the hotel, the ground transportation, if any of that goes up ridiculously in price, because you put that deposit down, they cannot raise the price on you. So now you basically are locked into all the promotions and all that stuff for your package. And that $1,000 package that you have is now $3,000, a couple of days
Hmm.
later, because you put that deposit down. So you have that power.
Yeah.
And I always recommend that to people. I was like, if you don't have the full amount, at least try and aim for that deposit amount. Because,
Right.
depending on what type of trip you're doing, um, it could be as low as $50. I mean, we've had $1 deposits in the past. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I missed out on that one. Couldn't I
your
was a little
your
too
mom
slow, but next year, next
your
year.
mom took advantage of that one real quick.
I know. I'm sure she has. Now you know where I get it from.
Yeah,
But
that's good.
I know you love to do cruises too, and you've raised your children on going on cruises. I know they're young, but they're already like platinum, super platinum on all these cruise lines, right?
I started my kids cruising when they were able to at 6 months old. So I mean,
Wow.
I have parents that are like, do kids have to pay the same price as an adult? I was like, yeah, because I mean, unfortunately they do, but at the same time they're building their loyalty membership at that young
Yeah.
age. I mean, my youngest, he's 9 now. I mean, my oldest, he's 9 now. But the last Carnival cruise that we did back in July of last year, he was 8, and they brought him on stage as the youngest platinum member on that sailing. So I mean, whatever you're doing
The
now
rest of
for
us
your,
are trying to get there, man.
he got a little plaque and all this kinds
Oh
of stuff,
wow.
Alicia. Yeah, they gave him a plaque picture with the captain, all this kinds of stuff. And that's one thing, that is a pro with cruising too. Once you're loyal to a certain brand, now I'm not saying that don't
Yeah, you
try
can
different
yeah,
brands of
you can go
cruise lines,
wherever.
but once you stay loyal with a brand, you move up in their membership. So
Hmm.
with Carnival is very important, fun person,
Yeah.
VIFP. Royal Caribbean is Crown and Anchor. And you get more perks. Like me personally, I'm Diamond with Royal Caribbean. So every sailing I go to, I have a Diamond Lounge on board Royal Caribbean where I'll get hors d'oeuvres, I'll
The
get
rest of
drinks,
us are
I'll get
peeking in.
exactly. And once you show your loyalty to the brand, it doesn't cost you anymore. In fact, they give discounts to people who are loyal to them. So once I put in your loyalty number in my system, you'll get different promotions than anyone else.
Hmm.
And that goes across the board for any cruise line. So
Yeah, what's that saying? Membership has its privileges, right? Like you look forward to those little perks. I don't care if it's just the bottle of water. I want
exactly.
it. I
Exactly.
want it. No, well, it was good catching up with you. That was some of the basics I wanted to cover, and just give people an update on working with a travel agent and some of the benefits of it, because I know it's always been a great thing for me. I know we all are on the internet all the time and we can look and click and do it all ourselves, but yeah, you are so helpful.
That's
And
what I'm here for, Alicia.
yeah,
And the thing is, I encourage people. I say, let's work as a team. You might see something that you like better for your vacation package that I'm not seeing. And that's
yeah.
why you have to have an open communication with your travel agent. And like I said, it doesn't cost you anymore. If anything, it saves you more by working with a travel agent. So, and like me personally, I own my own agency, so I don't have to pay anyone to do the things I do. So it definitely is savings for you in the long run for your vacations working with my agency specifically.
Who doesn't want to
So
save money, even on vacation? That sounds great.